Welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is, here live to tape for show number 10 of Chaos Corner. Fans, I can't thank you enough for being here. The IWC, the internet wrestling community, and all the content creators. Now, we're on Twitter right now, but fans, you know to hit my profile link on Twitter, and that'll bounce you over to the live YouTube that I am right now. Well, listen. Live to tape. So hit the Twitter profile at Big Daddy G.O.C. And the G.O.C. stands for the Guardian of Chaos. Don't forget to follow my boys over at the show, and that's at Mario underscore chaos. They're there to put you over. If you don't take advantage of that channel, then I don't know what you're doing in this industry as far as branding and trying to get yourself out there. So I greatly appreciate it. We haven't been here since last week for this particular episode, show number 10. We are going to review AEW Dynamite, AEW on TNT, leading into this weekend's Full Gear pay-per-view event. You're not going to want to miss it, fans. We have a lot of different things trending. So hold on, Twitter, hang in there. You're going to bounce over to YouTube in, I don't know, about 45 seconds. So hold on. Let me see what I'm doing here. We love the music, but not when it's a distraction. Show number 10, like I said, we are live to tape and we're going to cover AEW Dynamite. I don't want you fans to miss this. Like, subscribe, get out to your friends. I don't know what's going on with Twitter. I'm having problems downloading live videos, so we'll see what happens. That's why you can always follow the Guardian of Chaos on YouTube. It was unbelievable what happened on last night's AEW Dynamite. That's what we're going to cover here tonight. And don't forget to follow me on Thursdays. I will be preempted this Thursday on the Patrick Ryan Show due to everything that's going on with the debate. They're still counting. Either way, fans, move forward. Hang on, we're bouncing over to YouTube. All right, welcome back, IWC. Welcome back those from Twitter over to YouTube. As I said, show number 10, live to tape. That's why you see there is no edit button. There's nothing here that we can press a button, or I could yell at a couple people in the back and stuff like to tell them to be quiet, because there's always somebody that wants to sit in on a taping. So I bring them down here in the bunker, and you know that we're 8, 10, more than 8, but I always start off at 8, maybe 12 feet below the surface here in the bowels of the earth, and I don't want to get too crazy. Last time we were here was show number 6 for AEW. Obviously, there was show number 7 and 8 and 9, and we had a lot of views. We got into the algorithm. We had a lot of people smashing that like button. I love it. I appreciate it. Do it again on show number 10. But I realized that when I covered AEW Dynamite last week, it was show number 6, and I went over an hour and a half. We're not going to do that in this episode. I promise you. We're going to cover last night's a recap of Dynamite, which was tremendous, and we're going to go into Full Gear. Like I said, we're probably going to make this weekly. All right, so I greatly appreciate that much. And a little commercial break right here, commercial spot. Again, I haven't caught their attention yet, but it's okay because it gives me wings either way. So stand by, folks. Show number 10 on YouTube. There's a lot of things going on. I'm here to be a distraction, not only for you fans, but for myself and what's going on with the election in 2020 and Trump and Biden, and who knows where it's going to end up in the court, and alleged fraud and the overall vote and the electoral college. And I went on and on and on about that on show number 9. So go back and listen to that in the archives. There's a lot of things going on between censorship and what's going on here in the country. And whichever way it goes, we're still going to continue to move forward with motivation, inspiration, living your life, getting up and doing your thing day to day, supporting your family, being positive, because that's what it's all about. No matter who's the president, no matter what's going on locally, you still have to tend to your life and the people in your life. So that's the most important thing. That's the way I see it. So I appreciate that, and I said it on show number 9. Go back and like my shows. A couple of them have got a bunch of views and likes, and I appreciate that. But that's what we're covering here tonight. It was the Go Home show. to full gear. Now I'm looking forward to this Saturday, whether I do a couple of watch-alongs, watch it live, all of the above in Chaos Corner and Chaos HQ. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. AEW keeps you wanting you. The fans, the insiders, they want you to come back for more. That's how they're presenting to the show to me, as both an insider and someone who's a fan. And the older as I am, the over 50 demo god, your boy, the G.O.C., and I tell it like it is. That's what I am in this industry. But they keep you coming back for more. I mean, they really do. You got to give Tony Khan and what Cody and everybody's doing, especially during the pandemic. You got to give them a lot of credit what they're doing. But again, let me take the break. We're 5 minutes in already. It goes by so fast because I have so much fun. You see, I'm throwing out content every couple of days. There's a lot of good content creators out there that I'm following. So whoever I follow, I suggest and advise. You do whatever you want. I think you should follow the people that I follow because they're very creative. They're very good. They're very generous, benevolent people who know what they're talking about, and they're damn entertaining. And you see, I have a lot of sponsors, whether it's my old buddy who I haven't seen in a while, Big Dave Paradise, Big Steve at Diadamo, and Tracy Bale Bonds. That's right, and my former profession. Of course, my buddy Mr. Hempel Stilskin over at Sweet Heel. All the CBD products that you can imagine right here in the Constitution State of all places, in the shadows of Titan Towers, right down the street in 95. Can you believe it? Mr. Hempel Stilskin, for all your CBD needs. If I go a day without it, I don't know what I would do. I have to be honest. They have every product you can think of. Sweetheal.com. That's right. Sweetheal.com for all your CBD needs. And if you use the promo code CHAOS, now I don't know if it's worked for him. I've said it on the Patrick Ryan Show. I said it on the Curtain Call podcast with John J. Filippelli and Kevin Sullivan. I said it on the Mario and Chaos Show. I've said it at North American Wrestling Alliance. I've said it on every show I've ever been on. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, Chaos Corner, multiple places. If you haven't used the Chaos code for 25% off, you never know what's going to happen in that business. But it's from the Constitution State. Support your small entrepreneurs. Mr. Hempel Stilskin, I wouldn't vouch for if it didn't work for me personally. Sweet Heel. Go out and get some products. Use the promo code CHAOS. 25%. We don't know where the country's going. We don't know what unemployment's going to be. 25% off. Anyway, and that leads me into my break, which I never took. I said I would take it at 5 minutes, and now it's 8 minutes. We're not going an hour and a half, I promise you that. Trust me when I tell you. But AEW is doing a lot of good things, man. What an alternative. Listen, NXT has been great lately. Halloween Havoc last week was tremendous. They have all the stars. I get it. I understand it. But AEW is just fresh. They're only a year in, and you see what they're doing. They're creating stars. They're using the legends the right way. Listen, there's a lot of things that I don't like about it. Whether it's the use of the ref and how they run certain matches and all the high risks that they take and different storylines and how they're thrown together. So I can criticize all the products. I just choose to cover AEW more because I'm still living in the WWF days. But with that being said, it's about the product. So that's why I'm covering AEW. It's what's trending. It's what hot. Get SmackDown to be hot again, or Monday Night Raw, maybe some NXT, and I'll consider covering that. It's what the fans want. And with that being said, if you want to get in touch with me, we're 10 minutes in here. Email me personally. You can go to Twitter and always DM me on the at Big Daddy G.O.C. account on Twitter. You can go over to my boys at Mario_Chaos and DM either one of those accounts, and the messages will get to me. You can also email me at the Patrick Ryan Show at ryanradio@gmail.com. Dino will get the email to me. That's ryanradioshow@gmail.com for my appearances on Chaos Corner with Patrick Ryan, a.k.a. Dino, which I believe I will be preempted again, as I said, tonight, due to all the political stuff that Dino wants to cover and his different guests that are coming on. And listen, if Jay Mariotti can be preempted, then I certainly could too, and I don't have a problem with that. That means we're going in our contract into 2021 on Chaos Corner on Patrick Ryan. So that's fine by me. But with that being said, give me the Give me the break. So I will not be on there tonight, but you can email Ryan Radio Show, and Dino will get that to me at gmail.com. And my own personal one was the whole point. At Chaos Big Daddy 2 at yahoo.com. That's CHAOS BIGDADDY. The number 2. Not spelling it out, the number 2 at yahoo.com. If you want to get in touch with me, because the comments sometimes are turned off, I don't know what they're doing on YouTube, on Twitter. I'm having a lot of tough times with things here on show number 10, technical things that are affecting everybody, plus the reception down here in the bowels. But Chaos Big Daddy 2, the number, at yahoo.com. And I'll read your stuff live on the air. Again, we know that it's live to tape, live to tape. Do you get it for you people in the industry? Did I say in the industry? Listen, I'm feeling my inner Eddie Kingston and Moxley, which we're gonna cover. So in this weekend, full gear on Fight TV, Saturday, 8 o'clock, before I cover everything. The last time we did this AEW review, like I said, was on the 22nd of October. We reviewed the AEW for the 21st of October. That was show number 6. It was an hour and 37 minutes, but it was an excellent show, and you should have tuned in for all of it, because it really was. We're going to keep it shorter this time, because we're going to do recap of AEW quickly through Full Gear, and then I'll see you when I see you. I'll announce it first, and obviously on Twitter. My inner Moxley and Kingston. Here's to you. It gives me wings, as I always say. All right, we're banging right into it here. We open up. Let me get this stuff out of the way, because I have notes. I could read this off the top of my head, but you'd want to be accurate. Don't call me out on it. AEW Dynamite. Obviously, we open up with Jericho. Okay, Haggerty. And, of course, part of Proud and Powerful Santana. They're being interviewed. That's how it starts with the backstage interview. Now, out comes MJF and Wardlow. We already talked about the legendary Sinatra performance they had at the steak dinner. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people said it was an embarrassment. Some people thought it was unbelievable. I told you how I thought about it. Go back to certain shows and you'll see what I thought about it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was creative, but it's not for everybody. I understand. MJF comes out with Wardlow. And again, you know I'm a big fan of Wardlow. Jericho, you feel the tension. You know that MJF is fighting to get in the inner circle. That's what this whole storyline has been about, whether you like it or don't like it. And you know that Jericho's in a lot of different stuff on social media with his involvement with who he supported for the president, which I don't think should matter in anything. You go by the character, but Jericho got involved in some of the political stuff. It's not worth it. Move on, no matter who you are, no matter what side, no matter what the outcome is. I got to be honest with you. The sun's still going to come up. You still got to go to work. So it's all good. Life's still going to go on. So Jericho calls MJF soft. So, you know, right there, and I hate to say it because we'll get on to it, and I don't want to say, I told you so, but we're going to get on to that later on. That's how we open up. They're all in the back. Hager has 2 black eyes. He has a cut across the bridge of his nose. Obviously, you fans in the MMA world, which I'm a big fan of and I follow, he had a fight this weekend. He didn't look that great, but guess what? He's 3-0. He looks tremendous. So obviously he wasn't wrestling last night, but he did have a couple of circles under his eyes. He took one to the proboscis, more than one to the proboscis, but he won, as Jericho said. So he's out there with Santana again, and Guevara was somewhere around, but MJF and Wardlow gets called soft. MJF storms off as usual. Okay, Jericho comes out to the live crowd at Daly's place. You know they're singing Judas. Okay, Y2J makes his way over to the booth, and whenever Y2J gets to the booth, I sound like I'm disappointed because I'm not. I'm just expressing Dynamite. Whenever he goes to the booth, it's gold because Jericho can do it all. He's one of those performers that is the 5-tool performer that can do everything, and especially at his age, you got to admire it. So Daly's Place is always a great. I talked about the venue before. It's down there in Florida. We know the restrictions for COVID. It's wide open. That's why everybody's running there. We already know that. So to hear the crowd sing Judas, I couldn't imagine if we were at live crowds. As I said, so MJF storms off. That's how they wanted to open it up here. Y2J goes over to Excalibur, JR, and Tony, and I think that's a Tony Schiavone. I think that's a great mix. Say what you want about them. They're legends. Excalibur adds a different curve and a different uniqueness to it and a different perspective, being younger. And if they throw in the occasional Taz and throw in Jericho, I mean, it's gold. They got people rotating in and out, just like backstage interviewers. So whenever Jericho's on there, it's fantastic. And there's my buddy, Justin Roberts, again, to me, one of the best. Some people say he goes overboard. Some people say he's a pretty boy. I call it being haters. I call it being jealous and envious. Justin Roberts is in the ring. I think he's a fantastic ring announcer. Legendary, perhaps one of the best ever in the business, just my opinion. And that would be whether I knew him or didn't know him. So I am the guardian of chaos, and I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this here on show number 10, which will be up, as we said, live to tape, same day. So the crowd sings Judas. We got into that. We go to the first bout, okay? It's MJF and Wardlow. As I said, they stormed off and they go to the ring. They go up against Ortiz from Proud and Powerful and Sammy Guevara, who's been on fire lately. I got to tell you, he's been en fuego muy caliente. El gallo tres huevos to all my Latino friends out there. But Guevara has been, and as Ortiz, now we know that the reason why P&P aren't together is because there's some injuries, there's things going on in the inner circle. But here's how we start off. Wardlow and MJF, they both look tremendous against Ortiz and Guevara from the inner circle. Now, Matt Hardy, I'm going to give the spoiler early, is at ringside in a mask, but nobody picks up on it. So Wardlow and Ortiz start off the bout. I picked up on it right away. I'm not sure if he was there at the beginning or not. Maybe I'm crazy. But I had thought about it, and it's not a leak or a spoiler that I heard from anybody else that I listened to, because you know who I listened to. We already run that down. So this was a good match. All these guys are great athletes. Even though Guevara's young, PNP, Ortiz, and Santana are young, but they've been all over, whether it's back to LAX. They're excellent in the ring. Again, I'll say this to start off this episode. I don't like all the high-flying tactics and the risks that have to be taken. But I really don't. But this was a solid way to open it up with MJF and Wardlow obviously going against Inner Circle guys, because that's what the storyline is, and that's what they're trying to do with MJF. So I enjoyed this match. Now, out of nowhere, like I said, and it came to fruition, Matt Hardy was at ringside. He hits Eddie with the chair, okay? MJF makes Ortiz tap out, and that's going to lead me on to other things. That MJF to use that and have Ortiz, it didn't make Ortiz look, this is what I first thought, it didn't make him look weak, in my opinion. He's, even though it's the Inner Circle, he's not with his normal tag team partner. Now, I'm not sure, again, I think it's injury why it wasn't Proud and Powerful, or the way they're trying to use them moving forward in AEW. Fans, let me know that part. That's just my opinion and my thought. That's why we have Chaos Corner here. Show number 10, live to tape. So as I go through this, so Hardy gets involved, obviously. You know the storyline between Guevara and Matt Hardy. That's why I saw this coming, and that's why I thought I saw him in the crowd. Again, maybe it's the glasses, the Oakleys from years ago. They really looked out for me, the Oakleys years ago. We talked about that. But fans, let me know. I thought that was a great way to start off, and I liked the way MJF to use something different, but it was a theme for the night. So he makes Ortiz tap. MJF and Wardlow go over. It's the whole Inner Circle thing. So you're wondering what's going to happen as it goes on, leading into Full Gear. I called it, though, okay? Because after the match, MJF goes over to the booth, and then he attacks Guerrero. He spears him, so to speak. And if you go back to episode 6, and this is what I said as I talked to it 20 minutes in, and we only just covering this, I called it. I said MJF would turn. This isn't going to work out, no matter how they were buddies, going back and forth, chemistry. I know it's a work, a kayfabe. I get it. But I called this because MJF as a performer and Jericho, you can't have the two of them together. They're worth more than gold, either going against each other or separate. That's the way I see it as an old school guy with ring psychology. Okay, so I called it. He attacks him after the match, and again, I even I even wrote it down on here that I called it. So I don't want to get crazy. Now I'm just looking through this and just what happened last night. Again, we're here on show number 10. We're going to move on, okay, because you know I recap everything like I did on show number 6, whether it be commercial breaks. So I want to run through this quick. We go on to the next part of the show, and it's an interview with Omega and Tony Schiavone talking about Hangman Page. Now, I thought it was really good. They're trying to bring back the cleaner, if you will, Omega. Now, I like it because when AEW first started and launched a year ago, I was well aware of Omega, obviously, from New Japan and all over the independent scene and wherever he had appeared before that, even being #1 in PWI in his legendary bouts that he's had in the past and his associations. So Omega and Schiavone, I do like it, and I do like Schiavone sitting down and doing these promos, and they're talking about Hangman because I think Hangman is one of the most underrated grapplers right now in AEW, perhaps the world. So that's where they went next with the promo and interview there with Schiavone, who does a great job. It's nice to have that legendary touch from back to WCW and the NWA. So I enjoyed that. Up next, we have the Best Friends, okay, come walking out with Orange Cassidy against Miro. And let me tell you something, Rusev looks tremendous. That's why they're calling him the best man. This guy is in phenomenal shape. Before he left New York in the WWE, or Stanford, I say New York because it's old school. Before he left there, he was in great shape, but he's even in better shape now. And this may be starting to work out for him in AEW. Now, obviously, with Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, and this whole storyline, I get it because of Twitch and all the censorship, and that's another story for another time. This is over a video game. And here's where we get our first break of the night. So the Best Friends in Orange Cassidy, Miro with Sabian and Penelope Ford. Okay, it's going to be Trent Beretta against Miro. Okay, who, again, in great shape over a video game is the storyline in case you're not up to date on it. So it's Trent Beretta and Miro. Like I said, first break, I keep track of that stuff. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong, Trent Beretta and Best Friends are tremendous athletes. Again, an underrated team who didn't catch on in other organizations, but these are what AEW does. They make stars. So I think they're very talented athletes. And Miro's tremendous. He was tremendous as Rusev. We also go to that, during that match, we go to a second break, which is the first split screen of the night that they put on TNT. Okay, TNT is catching on fire because of this. And if you go to the quarter ratings that have been happening, I haven't been talking about the ratings, but if you go to the quarter ratings that have been happening on Wednesday nights, AEW is drawing over 1 million people, 1.5 million, 1.7 million people during certain segments of each breakdown and quarter breakdown that you get through the Nielsen's and through the ratings. So that's pretty impressive. That's almost as much as SmackDown or Monday Night Raw, if you think about that, on a Wednesday night. And could you imagine if there was no pandemic? So they're getting big ratings. Second break, split screen. Penelope slaps Orange Cassidy. Okay, and obviously Sabian and the Dark World Order, they end up attacking Kip Sabian. Again, it's not a bad angle. I know I sound like I'm downplaying it, but it's not, because these are all good athletes. A lot of different things that I see. I don't like to stick it out and not be positive, but I'm going to tell it like it is, and I'll say not to say this, because that's what I do here on Chaos Corner. Trent, for the athlete it is, I don't know if it's because of the weather down in Jacksonville. It's always humid and warm. It is the Sunshine State. Again, botches that I see every week. Mistakes, fast pacing. Again, you got to be careful. That's the point of what I'm trying to talk about. So Beretta goes to jump off the top rope. He slips, almost breaks his neck. And again, this is what I talk about all the time when it comes to being a pro wrestler and being properly trained. And even when you are, just what a risk that it is. And the risk that the new talent takes nowadays compared to the old talent. But that's another story for another time. So he was lucky to recover from that. And here's the theme. So this is the third segment in. Fourth segment, we'll say, if you want to count commercial breaks. First couple of matches, and here it is. Miro makes Trent Beretta tap. And you know what? He uses a camel clutch. That's what it was. That was an iron sheet camel clutch, or whatever you want to call it, because that's what I would call it. But Miro, it's the second match. MJF gets when a proud and powerful to tap out in the first match, the whole inner circle thing, and now we have another tap out here. Beretta taps out to Miro, and again Miro's cutting these promos, and again he's always alluding to the WWE, and if you could read between the lines, and I guess if you're one of the boys, or if they don't think that's for the fans, or whatever you want to talk about it, his promos have been spot on, and calling out his former employers. But Miro looks great, and then afterwards, again, this is what I talk about when it comes to risks and everything that's happening. Orange Cassidy off the top rope to the outside of the ring just gives the drop. There it goes, the drop. What's going on here with these young kids and these young superstars? And it's not even for a live crowd. Are you doing it for the pop? Because there is no pop. Are you doing it to impress your peers, or are you doing it because this is who we are now? But I just don't agree with the risks and the longevity. We see it week after week in organizations, and especially the independents, of guys taking chances with, we know that we're independent contractors and there's no health care and medical insurance, and just beating your body down. And what are you doing? Yeah, okay, it's entertaining. Yeah, wow. Or yeah, if it was a live crowd and you did it once every couple of months, I just don't understand. So Cassidy hits the drop off the top after the match, takes everybody out. And it just leaves me frustrated. You can feel it as 25 minutes in here on show number 10. We go to JR and Hangman Page interview again. I like what they're doing here. They're breaking it up. I said it on show 6. You go match, promo, commercial break, split commercial break. It's a 2-hour show that I try to break down here in an hour. That's why we went an hour and a half last time, because we get distracted. So JR and Hangman Page. Now here's Hangman talking about Moxley. Obviously, Page has a cocktail in his hand. You know that. That's the gimmick. He's always got a beer. He's always got a cocktail, a la Beer Country. Beer Money, a la James Storm, a la Stone Cold before that, but it works. Again, Hangman, underrated. They used to be former tag team champions, that, Mox and Page. So there's a nice storyline there. And again, having JR and Shivani do the interviews brings me back to old school. So I like that they're incorporating. Again, this is what AEW does, uses the new school with the old school and getting the rub. And that's why I like the AEW product if we're going to talk about the current products. So that's just my take as the Guardian of Chaos. Hopefully we won't get cut off. We've been getting cut off a lot in a lot of episodes. I got nervous there for a second. Again, we're down below here. So I get nervous with that. Again, as you know, this weekend, again, they're pushing the full gear of promos. They did a great job putting out the promos. They really put together a nice product and production, whether it be there at Daly's Place with the pyro and just the atmosphere, even during the pandemic and with minimal fans now, and just putting together the promo. They really make it look nice. AEW's got a total different packaging and marketing and campaign going on than the WWE, and this is why I find it more attractive. No slamming the WWE. I'm just telling it like it is. It's what I do. So commercial break number 3. The full gear promos have been fantastic. Commercial break number 3. So we come back here. Again, we're always prepared here. This is what I do. Live to tape, show number 10 here on the YouTube channel. Having a lot of fun with this. Come back and here's FTR, who I really enjoy as an old school tag team. And they're with Tully Blanchard. Again, it doesn't get much better with using the whole veterans to give the rub to the young talent, or to the veterans of today from the legends. Now it's an FTR and Young Bucks promo for the tag titles coming up. Again, they put a great vignettes and promos together. I like the way they're making it flow from live in-ring action there in Jacksonville to the commercials, the split commercials. They're keeping you, wanting you to keep coming you back and making it exciting for you to look forward to what's going to happen at Full Gear. We come back from the promo of FTR and the Young Bucks, again, for the tag team titles. We know what's going to happen at Full Gear. It's going to be a big night. Team Taz, which I really like because I love Taz. He just has what it takes. You talk about Eddie Kingston, like I did in episode number 6 when I covered AEW Dynamite the last time. this is where Kingston is learning it from, is from Taz, because Taz is just tremendous. He comes out with, obviously, Cage and Starks. They have the FTW title. And Taz is just putting it right out there. I'll give him credit. He's asking, why isn't there a matchup at Full Gear for Team Taz? Or why? Starks takes the mic. Now, he's really good on the mic. Another guy that Starks, as he moves on into the future, is going to be an unbelievable talent who I think does a little bit of everything, is going to be one of those players leading into the future. Again, Ricky Starks, a great talent. Cage looks tremendous. He looks like a Greek god. He looks like Bobby Lashley in the WWE, and I consider them similar talents. But I don't know if he's being used properly. I don't know what it is. If it's the creative, if it's himself, I'm not sure what it is. But Taz, and this is what I like, and who knows where Tony Khan's character is leading as we head into the future. Maybe he becomes Vince McMahon, the Tony Khan of AEW, Vince McMahon of AEW, to use the cliche. So Taz is calling out not only Cody Rhodes but Tony Khan for why aren't they a part of AEW Full Gear? So a great promo in ring live there in Jacksonville. So I really like it, and I like that it appears that Tony Khan is much more intelligent and creative in the game than we thought. And who knows where this is going to lead moving into the future. Next up, we have Private Party with Matt Hardy. Delete. With going up against the Young Bucks. Now, listen, I'm not sure. Listen, I'm not saying I like the tag team matches between Private Party, Young Bucks, all the high flying, but I respect their ability. This is what the business has come to, and I find them entertaining. So I'll take that back. They are enjoyable. They are entertaining, but it's just not traditional what I say. And I sit on the edge of my seat for these matches, but again, I worry about longevity and what they're doing and where the business has gone, and it is what it is. But I certainly appreciate it. But beforehand, we know the story in the lineup, and Hardy seems to be all over the place tonight. Last night at Dynamite, leading into Full Gear, Guevara attacks Hardy in the back. So again, and then they go right to commercial break. It's a split screen. Commercial break number 4. So Guevara attacks Hardy. We know that the match coming up is going to be a match between these young stars, between the Young Bucks, who still are young, although they've been in the business a long time, and Private Party are still sucking on their bobos, their binkies. No disrespect. How long they've been in the business? They're great athletes. The athleticism is over the top. I mean, I couldn't dream about what they're doing now back in the golden era. This is wrestling, gymnastic style. I appreciate it. But they show the attack by FTR and the Young Bucks coming out. A lot of high-risk maneuvers to the outside, suicide dives, false finishes, leg slaps. But again, I appreciate the athleticism. What an unbelievable... And we go back to another... During this match, they had 2 commercial breaks. So commercial break number 5, another split screen. They never break you away from the action. It makes you not want to get up and walk away. Usually during a commercial break on SmackDown on Fox or USA... AEW and TNT, and what they're doing is doing it the right way. They'll keep it on the split commercial, and that's why I always bring it up in these reviews, to keep you there to watch the matches. So you're not walking away from the TV, and they're keeping your attention. Smart programming, smart business model. There's the difference. Even though the WWE stocks during the third quarter have gone through the roof, it's another program for another time. So that's what's going on in that match. Again, unbelievable match. And if you're between the demographic of what they're trying to hit of 18 and 40, then I guess this is what you're looking for. Then you go to the quarter-hour breakdowns of who's making it, who's not. Again, 1 million people, 1.5 million, 1.7 million on certain segments. Research it. It's out there. It's public information. I'm not throwing out there anything that isn't already consumption for the social media out there right now and for people to follow and watch. I just like the trends. All right, so back to FTR and Tully attack on the Bucks. There's a double team move by Matt Jackson in the ring. Again, Matt Jackson shows that he's really selling it in the ring. I'll give Jackson a lot of credit because sell is the name of the game. And then when you're done selling, sell some more. Because that's what AEW doesn't do enough, and there's where the criticism comes in. Sell. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to sell. So I'll give Jackson credit for selling the injury that he's had from when PNP and the Inner Circle and everyone tried to break his leg. I'll give him credit for that. I'm sorry, not PNP. Again, I'll have to say it. I say it every episode. I'm rambling around here. Bully Ray did actually say it to the Guardian of Chaos in the locker rooms on at least a couple occasions 20 years ago. And again, I refer to it all the time when I mess up because we're raw, unedited, unique. He did say, give the Guardian of Chaos 6, 7, 8 spots. He'll F up 5 of them, 6 of them. I consider that to be a compliment. I'm from a Hall of Famer. I love it. That means that I'm working. I'm always learning. That's what it means. Show number 10, Chaos Corner. We're having a good time covering AEW. But again, these matches are very, very tough to cover all over. So I do take the notes. I watch the programs. No flips, just fists. FTR, I love them. Again, I know I'm bouncing over here. They've been involved with this with Tully and attacking the Young Bucks. Not proud and powerful with the Inner Circle. I got it all mixed up here because of the storylines. So the FTR, we get it. Young Bucks, Inner Circle, MJF, we understand. The double team move by the Jacksons, their typical double team maneuver. This is where I come to the reffing, another one of the critiques of the AEW. The refs are all over the place. They're qualified. They're good at what they do. I understand that, but they don't have enough control. It's very sloppy. You're leaving these guys in the ring. You're not telling the story. You're there to do a job. You're letting them do whatever they want. So I'm on a rant here now at 35 minutes in on show number 10, but no roughing in this match. So a nice double team maneuver. Jackson, with the injury, does get the pin. So this is for the championship to go against FTR, if I'm not mistaken. Omega and Page come out because, as I said, FTR and Tully attacked the Bucks after the match. Jericho, for some reason, Omega and Page come out for the save. I'm not sure where it's going. They're enemies. They don't really get in each other's face, but Jericho's cheering everybody on from the booth. Again, Omega and Page coming out. I'm not sure where they're going with that yet. If somebody could help me out on that. This is what I saw from there. Again, how could you go wrong with the athleticism of these guys, of the Private Party and the Young Bucks? Young Bucks are your winners. Again, we talked about the different commercial breaks, having a split screen, Jackson selling, the whole story with FTR leading him to Full Gear. It's going to be tremendous. So that's where we went, as we're like 8 segments in here, because I break it down into segments here for Dynamite. We go to commercial break number 6 after the whole Omega and Page. Again, I'm not sure. Maybe the Professor, maybe the Freak, maybe Don Tony, maybe Cronin, maybe the legendary JD from New York, maybe somebody who's watching the show, maybe somebody from a work in progress, maybe El Ref, maybe somebody could tell me why Omega and Page came out during this bout when FTR was attacking the Bucks. Anyway, I must let it move forward to the task at hand. We come back from commercial break number 6 with an excellent Full Gear promo. Again, they did a great job all night of pushing it out there. Tony Schiavone is live in ring, and here comes Eddie Kingston. And Moxley enters the building, and they put on a promo live in ring at Daly's Place that's second to none. Again, these guys are really pulling it off, just like I've said about Cody Rhodes in the past and his passion and what he brings to a promo. We'll bring that up, how he closes the show, but it's about Eddie and Moxley right now for the championship leading into Full Gear. They can't touch each other. We know the storyline. It was a great storyline to build the psychology. They can't put their hands on each other, but they can get nose to nose. So I like that. They get nose to nose. They're building up the pay-per-view. Eddie's talking about, his family and why he never had a kid and why his mother never had a grandkid and why he never had a wife and all these different things because he gave it up for the business to get this opportunity for Moxley. And he had to sell out himself. And all the meantime, he's calling Moxley a sellout. And we know the history from Combat Zone, CCW, and the different history between Mox and Kingston. Nose to nose, a lot of talk, like I said, about selling each other out. And Mox brings up Eddie's mom and says, hey, and he comes up behind him, and Kingston's just standing there, and those faces and the way he sells, and he sells with his face and his story. And yeah, he's not the biggest physically gifted or the toughest, but it's legit and it's believable. And I said it last on show 6 when we covered it last time, and so it's believable. And Mox, and we know the grit and the intensity since he's no longer Dean Ambrose. and he's really John Moxley and true to his character, and that's why AEW is so different than the WWE. So we're standing behind him, and he's talking about it, and he's making it personal, a la what they're doing over in the WWE with the Usos and Roman Reigns, and the storyline of the Samoan dynasty and the legacy and the family and the raw power, and making it believable. And the first time of what they finally caught on with Reigns in the WWE. Well, this is some similar, close, not family, but Mox and Jericho with the same intensity, if you know what I'm talking about, if you get what I mean. So he comes up behind him and even talks about and mentions Eddie Kingston's mother, Ruth. So you know the history. Now, Kingston, for all the people who have been coming out and I said on show number 6 who don't know who he is, listen, he's been around a long time. We've run the same circles. Kingston's tremendous. He's just getting the opportunity. Sometimes it takes this long. But just the connection and the legitimacy and the passion and the storyline behind this is fantastic. So it really was a good in-ring promo leading into Full Gear, and Kingston's going to finally get his chance. And who knew and would have called this 6 months ago, hell, even 3 months ago with Kingston now, because you get that opportunity. It's all about seizing the opportunity when you get a chance. I say it all the time. That leads into someone who's finally coming back, who's been off the scene because of the pandemic and travel restrictions and COVID and all that. And it was a great promo, and this guy looks tremendous, and I've always been a big fan of his, and that's Pac. Pac is coming back. The travel restrictions, hopefully he's going to be back very soon. They put an unbelievable promo vignette together again, live ring, promo, live match, in-ring. They're putting a nice program together for AEW and Dynamite on TNT. It really is, leading into the Full Gear pay-per-view. So we're on like 10 segments in commercial break number 7. You got to pay the bills, and this is what AEW is doing, and this is why sometimes they'll have this is probably the 3rd or 4th commercial break they had where it was just commercials. The other 3 or 4 they have the split screen. They make you not want to go away to continue to tell the story. So Pac, what an unbelievable promo. It's good to see him back. He's in incredible shape. He's probably got about a 4% body fat. He will add to that roster. So unbelievable. Let me take a break here, fans, because I feel like I'm in the Mojave Desert. The pipes are feeling good, though. No halls today, but with the Red Bull, never far away. Show number 10 here on YouTube. Live to tape. You'll get it the same day. Breaking down AEW Dynamite and then a quick review of announcing the matchups through Full Gear for this weekend. So, fans, you're not going to want to miss this. We're over 42 minutes in. We're short on time, but we're going to wrap it up. I hope you're staying with me and people stay to the end. Like, subscribe. I put a lot of people over, and if you miss and you don't stay on, I know what the average is, then you're missing out on a lot of information as we get into the middle and end of these shows on Chaos Corner. Feeling good. Shout out to everybody. Feeling good. Feeling positive no matter what happens in this country. Going to continue to do me. We left off with the Pac promo. We're back on show number 10 here. Oh, I need that break. That was great. Hold on. Hope you guys don't turn off when I do this. Let me know. Again, email me. Chaos Big Daddy, the number 2 at yahoo.com. Chaos Big Daddy, the number 2 at yahoo.com. I'll read your question live on the air. I'm keeping it real. Listen, I watch a lot of Hannibal TV. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and this is what you get. Live, unedited, unscripted, and we're trying to get our name out. There's a lot of competition. We're not trying to compete with anyone. We're not trying to be better. We're just bringing it from my perspective, my viewpoint of 30-plus years in the business and breaking it down like no other and having a lot of fun. So commercial break number 7, we come back. Why they're placing it here near the end of the show in the so-called 11th segment as Chaos breaks it down. You got Red Velvet with Brandy Rhodes. We know she wields a lot of power in the company with Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. It's nice to see Vicky around again. Homage to Eddie Guerrero. She's a legend in the business. I will give her credit. And Nyla Rose, for what she does and who she is, give her a lot of credit. She's a hell of an athlete. She's a hell of an athlete. I like the way she sells the gimmick. So Red Velvet and Nyla Rose, I don't know why it's placed here. You know, Sheeta, who's a very talented grappler. I got all these ladies. Don't get me wrong, they're all talented grapplers. I respect everybody. Take it however you want. Change the channel. I really don't give a fuck. It's the first time I've cussed in like 2 or 3 episodes. I'm trying to keep it clean in case people are watching. I love you all. So Sheeta's at ringside. Great grappler. She is the champion. Vicky berates Brandy near the end of the match. Again, this was on his background. I was tending to other things at that point. I respect everybody involved, but I'm not sure why it was placed here. Nyla Rose ends up going over. Again, Vicky berates Sheeta because that's leading into Full Gear. I guess it's going to be Nyla and Sheeta. Sheeta is the champion. Bringing Vicky in is smart. I'll give him credit. Brandy does whatever she wants. She's obviously Cody's wife. Good-looking lady. And Vicky has held up well, too, at her age. She really has. She's held up well. And she does add to the company for credibility. I'll give her credit for that. She's a legend. But, excuse me, please? Really? We're still using that gimmick? Okay, so again, why was it placed there? Somebody clue me in on why Nyla Rose and Red Velvet are there in the second part of the show on AEW Dynamite. Come back. The Natural Nightmares are being interviewed. That's Dustin Rhodes, obviously, and QT Marshall being interviewed by Alex Marvez, of all people. Alex been around a long time. Dustin, I'll give him credit. Been around forever. Dustin Rhodes, a true legend. I respect Dustin Rhodes, his legacy, and just him as a professional to still be in the business has longevity. And Marvez been around a long time too. Where he fits in with AEW, how his connection is, I don't know. Justin, can you help me out? Can Chaos get into AEW? Chaos would fit right into AEW, Justin Roberts. Just direct me in the right way. Vouch for me. You don't have to. I'm not asking for anything. Just give me the opportunity. I'll prove it. Chaos to AEW sounds pretty damn good to me. But back to Dustin and QT, the Natural Nightmares. Again, backstage interview. I love the way they're putting this together. They get attacked by the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. You saw that coming. I'll give the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny a credit along the lines of FTR. They're a little bit more old school. They keep it in the ring. I like that. So you saw that coming between the Natural Nightmares and the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. We go back to JR with Omega and Kenny Page promo for Full Gear. I really love it. We got different people coming in to make comments, making predictions. Tony Schiavone, Excalibur. They give the full lineup for the Full Gear card, which is going to be unbelievable. Full Gear this Saturday, pay-per-view of Fight, and I'm putting a plug in for Fight. It's going to be an unbelievable event, whether you're watching along or you see it live or whatever it is that you're doing to Saturday night about it. It's going to be unbelievable. And I found very interesting, if anyone else picked up on it, that the legendary, and again, a guy I consider to be a brilliant guy, heard him on Busted Open Radio, follow him in Impact his whole career back to ECW, WCW, and that would be one Don Callis, who I consider to be one of the smartest guys, psychology-wise and mentally, and just in life, in this business. Don Callis may be too smart for the pro wrestling business. Very smart guy, so it was interesting to see the connection. Don Callis, obviously, Impact Wrestling. Scott D'Amore, the whole connection, maybe something there. I'm putting it out there first. I haven't heard anybody else talk about this. Maybe I missed it. Don Callis, AEW. Very interesting. Keep your eye on that. So they went through the whole lineup, and then they go to a Darby Allin promo from there. We're like on segment 14. They're making Darby Allin out like a modern-day Sting, which that's another breaking rumor. I'm sure you fans have heard about it. Sting is rumored to be coming back at Full Gear. If not at Full Gear, then maybe the next Dynamite. But they're talking about bringing in the legendary in his 50s and my demographic. And I love the way they use the legends. If they use it the right way, not to get themselves over, but to put the rub over to somebody else, to bring in Borden, a.k.a. the legendary Sting, is something I heard may happen. My predictions have been right on this show. Okay, so pay attention to that. Darby Allin sitting in the stands. I like what they're doing. Not saying necessarily I like his gimmick with the high risk and the fighting back and the resist and the skateboard, but he makes it sell. Again, I got a chance to see him perform live when he was associated with PAPW and Evolve. PAPW Evolve 95, I believe it was, an unbelievable event here in the Constitution State. Everybody from Keith Page to Darby Allin to many other superstars that have gone on to work for AEW and WWE were on that show and that pay-per-view event. Commercial break number 8. I always throw it out there. We're getting down closer to the end of the show here. And again, different matches and where they put it in. I was very curious about the lineup here in AEW tonight, but AEW Dynamite last night here on Chaos Corner. Show number 10, YouTube channel fans. We're growing by leaps and bounds. Like, subscribe, get us in the algorithm, make a comment, email me, give it to your friends, put it out there. Trust me, we're having a lot of fun. So we go into the one of the final segments, if not the final segment of the night, like segment 15. The Dark World Order comes out. The whole bunch of them come out with Colt Cabana, obviously, and they're going up against Cody with Arn Anderson. And again, Cody's been proven to be a true leader and believer in his own product, his own brand, and himself. And he comes out with Arn Anderson. Again, I told you last year, fortunate enough to meet Arn and Tully and been around with the guys that are in AEW now. So it's great to see the legends. And so Cody comes out with the Gun Club, which is Billy and his son, Austin. Billy Gunn, give this guy credit. Again, my demographic, legend, Hall of Famer, making another run because he's in such good shape and takes care of himself down in AEW. So Dark World Order with Colt Cabana, Cody and Arn Anderson against the Gun Club, Billy and Austin. With all of the Dark World Order at ringside. And that gimmick has turned out to be pretty well. I got to be honest with you. We go to commercial break number 9, okay? And so that seems to be the pattern. Last week, they averaged about 9 commercial breaks with the split breaks, 9 total. Probably 3 or 4 total commercial breaks, but with split breaks, probably about 3. Same thing again tonight, same pattern. So, and a lot of hype. Tony J.R. Excalibur did a lot of hype tonight for Full Gear. They really did a great job pushing that. So we come back from commercial break number 9, and of course, with all the people out there, everyone's going back and forth. Orange Cassidy comes out somewhere at the end. Austin Gunn looked tremendous. Billy Gunn looked tremendous. This was an entertaining match. Again, all over the place, like a lot of the matches are. I've said it earlier. I don't like that part with the rules and the risks and Cody taking such high-risk moves. You got a pay-per-view match coming up, one of the biggest for your company, for Khan, and you're taking these high-risk maneuvers and matches like this for what? I don't understand. For what? What are you doing? And they keep showing Darby in between. I like that part, but Cody, I don't get it. And again, a great job by the announcing team. I'm going to say it. I know I'm sounding like a sycophant for AEW, but I'm not. I'm just calling it like I see it from my demographic and what I have to compare it to, not compare it to back in the day. So Austin Gunn looked great. He does a crossroads that was unbelievable, and then he pins the Lucha Mask, a Dark World Order member, with a quick draw move, and it was really impressive. So overall, good show. Lead-in show to the pay-per-view coming up. Could have been a little bit better. They've done better lead-in shows. I've got every episode from AEW Dynamite saved in my library. So I've gone back pre-pandemic and compared to now. What a difference the crowds really have made. And I don't have to tell you fans that, but unfortunate. Who knows what's going to happen moving forward with the new normal in different states and traveling around and doing it like we used to do, going to every different city. I don't know. I don't want to get on that, but so a decent lead-in show, and then to end it off, Cody closes up on TNT, and again with his visions and his dreams and the passion and what he puts in to his promos and vignettes and how he's presenting the company. It's coming from the heart. You could see it. It oozes it. Again, I say it to all the different folks that are in AEW right now and the talent and the stars and what they put into it. It's a different style of WWE and what Impact is putting out there, and MLW's coming back and Ring of Honor's been running, and we know all that. So I hope you fans have stuck around. We're coming up on 55 minutes. A lot of things going on. AEW Dynamite, there's the recap. Cody closes out, unbelievable. So leading into Full Gear, there's a lot of companies opening up, as I said. MLW's coming back strong. Core Bauer made an announcement. Ring of Honor's just about done with the Pure Style tournament. New Japan's been running frequently. Impact, just coming off Bound for Glory, has been incredible on Access TV. There's a lot of things going on. Even the NAWA will be at Jingle Brawl on December 19th at the Daytona Center. And down in Daytona at the Ocean Center. It's going to be an unbelievable event on December 19th on iPay-per-view on Fight TV. Jingle Brawl 2020. They're going to have a Hercules Hernandez Cup for the title. All the stars are going to be there. A lot of legends are coming back. Hercules Hernandez family, the Fernandez family.